instances that we have set out in the courtroom. With that, we'll proceed first with the state. Mr. Blackwell, you may proceed with victim input.
Your Honor, we have 4 victim impact statements. We will start with the 7-year-old daughter of George Floyd, Gianna Floyd, who will present hers by video.
What do you miss most about your daddy?
Well, I play with him, have fun, go on a plane ride. We used to have dinner meals every single night before we went to bed. My daddy always used to help me brush my teeth.
Oh. Do you miss him helping brush your teeth?
Yes. They sue him.
Yeah. If you could say anything to your daddy right now, what would it be?
It would be, I miss you and I love you.
This is the victim impact statement
Gianna.
from
I really appreciate
George
you
Floyd's
answering
daughter.
questions today.
From the nephew of George Floyd, Brandon Williams. This way.
Your names.
Brandon Williams, BRANDON WILLIAMS.
You may proceed.
On Monday, May 25th, 2020, George Perry Floyd Jr. was murdered by Derek Chauvin in a malicious and insidious display of hate and abuse of power. Chauvin killed George. Not only did he kill George, but he also displayed a total lack of consideration for human life as he did so. You saw it, I saw it, and millions of people across the country and the globe witnessed the act of hate. A year and 1 month later, I stand there before you tasked with the duty of expressing how George's death has impacted me personally and the rest of our family. As I racked my brain and thought about what I could say today, I came to this conclusion. It is humanly impossible for me to stand here and convey or articulate the right words that would capture all that we are feeling and what we have felt over this period. So please bear with me as I attempt the impossible. The sudden murder of George has forever traumatized us. You may see us cry, but the full extent of our pain and trauma will never be seen with the naked eye. The heartbreak and hurt goes far beyond any number of tears we could ever cry. Words simply cannot express the pain, anguish, and suffering that our family and friends have endured since George's murder. It has been truly unimaginable, but not as nearly unimaginable as the defendant's decision to take the life of a human being with no regard for the effect it may have on others. Although Chauvin will be sentenced today and spend time in prison, he will have the luxury of seeing his family again, talking to them, and he will likely get to spend time with them upon his release. These are all luxuries that my young cousin Gianna were robbed of when Chauvin made the active decision to kill our father. There'll be no more birthday parties, no graduations, holiday gatherings, or other family celebrations. The laughter, hugs, guidance, advice, sense of security, and those opportunities to simply say I love you are forever gone. They say time heals all, and while I generally believe that saying, it's challenging to do so given these unfathomable set of circumstances. Before I conclude, I must highlight a few things. George's murder, this trial, and everything in between has been tragic and devastating. Our family is forever broken. And one thing we cannot get back is George Floyd. It is the request of my family that the maximum penalty for the crime for which the defendant was convicted be imposed. On behalf of my family, friends, community, and supporters, I wish to express my sincerest gratitude for allowing us opportunities of expression. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, just for the record, this wonderful lady standing here is a Hennepin County victim advocate.
Well is well known to the court.
Yes, thank you, Judge.
And so, Your Honor, we'll next hear from the brother of George Floyd, Mr. Terrence Floyd.
And Mr. Floyd, if you could state your full name, spelling each of your names.
Yes. Terrence Floyd. That's Terrence. Floyd. Floyd.
Go ahead.
I'm here representing my brother. I'm from New York. On May 25th, 2020, my brother was murdered, everyone knows, by Derek Chauvin. The facts of this case were proven beyond a reasonable doubt, and 3 guilty verdicts have been rendered. This situation has really affected me and my family. Any family member that has went through this, we are part of a fraternity of families, and it's not one of those, fraternities that you enjoy. I just, over this last year and months, I actually talked to a few people, and I wanted to know from the man himself why. What were you thinking? What was going through your head when you had your knee on my brother's neck? Why when you knew that he posed no threat anymore, that he was handcuffed, why you didn't at least get up? Why you stayed there? A month before my brother was murdered, I was on the phone with him, and we had a long conversation. And as I looked at the video of my niece, the last conversation me and my brother had was he wanted to have play dates. He wanted to plan play dates with Gianna and my daughter. And we started setting it up. That can't happen. And I have to, my daughter's still young, but I still have to explain to her, because this is history. This is a case everybody knows about. So she's gonna find out, and I'm gonna have to explain that to her. And I think that's, to me, harder than even just standing here. That I have to talk to my daughter and tell her, you know, about her niece, about her uncle, about the situation. That's basically reliving it all over again, years down the line. I'm here on behalf of my family, sorry.
This is so sad.
On behalf of me and my family, we seek a maximum penalty.
Yep, the maximum penalty.
We don't want to see no more slaps on the wrist. We've been through that already. In my community, in my culture, we've been through that already. Smacked on the wrist. No. Because if it was us, if the roles was reversed, there wouldn't be no case. It would have been open and shut. We'd have been under the jail for murdering somebody. So we asked for that same penalty for Derek Chauvin. Thank you.
Your Honor, the final victim impact statement for the state will come from George Floyd's brother, Phalonis Floyd.
Ooh, this better go the way it should.
And sir, if you could begin by giving us your full name and spell each of your names, and I have permitted you to use your phone because you have notes on it, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you may proceed when you're ready. Giving us your full name first.
Phalonis Floyd, spelled Philonise. Last name Floyd, Floyd.
And you may proceed.
One year ago, May 25th, my brother George was murdered by Derek Chauvin and his co-defendants in broad daylight with a knee to his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds.
Oh my God.
I was a trucker, and immediately my life changed forever. I began to speak to the world for George from the United Nations, Africa, Canada, Japan, and so many other countries. Every day, I have begged for justice to be served, reliving the execution of George, while others begged and pleaded for Officer Chauvin to simply just allow George to take a breath. I haven't had a real nice sleep because of the nightmares I constantly have hearing my brother beg and plead for his life over and over again. Even saying, "They're going to kill me. Please, officer." Screaming for our mom. I have had to sit through each day of Officer Derek Chauvin's trial and watch the video of George dying for hours over and over again. For an entire year, I had to relive George being tortured to death every hour of the day, only taking naps and not knowing what a good night's sleep is anymore. I've been lifting my voice tirelessly every day so that George's death will not be in vain. Honorable Judge Peter Cahill, I thank you for allowing me to share this today. George's life mattered.
Yes, it
So
did.
my family and I, most of all, my niece, Gianna. My niece, Gianna, she needs closure. I'm asking that you please find it suitable to give Officer Chauvin the maximum sentence possible, charge that he has been found guilty for. My family and I have been given a life sentence. We will never be able to get George back. Daddies are our daughter's first love. He would never be able to walk Gianna down the aisle at her wedding, attend those magical moments of her life like a daddy-daughter dance, sweet 16 party, seeing her out for prom graduations, and she would never be able to have any personal memories with her father. With a smirk on his face and children present,
Yes.
Officer Chauvin used excessive force and acted against his training. Chauvin had no regards for human life, George's life. I stand before you today asking you to please help us find closure by giving Chauvin the maximum sentence possible, making sure he does his time consecutively without the possibilities of parole, probation, or getting out early for good behavior.
None of it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Frank.
Thank you, Your Honor. Here today, of course, for sentencing, gives us an opportunity to speak about other matters that I think are involved in sentencing and where we are in the criminal justice system and the processing of this case. As a member of an elected office representing the people of the state of Minnesota, as well as people of the local community, I want to say a couple of things. And first of all, I want to really thank some of the police officers in the Minneapolis Police Department who, under great pressure, great stress, to some extent at peril to their occupations, what they've devoted their life to, stuck to their oath and their commitment as police officers to speak openly and honestly about policing and the training that is given and received by police officers. Those officers didn't hide behind a blue wall. They came forward, they told this court and those jurors what they knew about training and responsibility. And I think they deserve recognition and credit for that. I would also like to thank members of the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. You know, those agents get called in, great sacrifice to their personal lives. Whenever things happen, they go. They did that here, and under really extraordinary circumstances, completed a very professional and thorough investigation. Conducting interviews is hard enough, but conducting them in the atmosphere of the city following the murder of George Floyd was even more difficult. And they did so, I think, above and beyond the call of duty. And I want to thank them for doing that on behalf of the whole prosecution staff. I want to thank the family, the loved ones, the friends of George Floyd. They have been through so much more than families involved in murder cases. He's right. It's a fraternity you don't want to be part of. But they've been through so much more because of the pandemic and because of security, safety precautions that we've had to take. They have been through a lot. At a time when they try to grieve, like everybody does for the loss of someone, they are going through so much more. And I want to thank them, all of them, the family. The court saw a testimony from Philonise Floyd, Courtney Ross. These are people who are trying to deal with their loss, but they have to do it in a very public way and under very trying circumstances through no fault of their own. So I thank them. They have all been models of grace and understanding. And it's really remarkable, quite frankly. I'll, I think, come back to them again in a little bit. Your Honor, we have submitted a sentencing brief. I would incorporate that. I guess I would incorporate my comments today into that memo. But I do think there are things that I want to bring out today in my arguments. For hundreds of years, the court had discretion in sentencing. It was the trial court's decision on what a sentence should be. The recognition that the trial court sat through the trial, watched the evidence, saw how it affected people, informed the court's discretion. And the legislature passed the guidelines in a legitimate attempt to try and even out sentences. They defined certain presumptive sentences, as we all know, for typical crimes. For each crime, the typical crime. But they did not remove discretion for sentencing judges. They recognized that nobody is better suited to decide whether this is the typical case represented by that guidelines presumptive sentence, or if there are reasons why this is worse than that. And the guideline still gives this court discretion when there are aggravating factors to give a more serious sentence than what the guidelines presumption calls for. And as you know, we are asking you to do that today. As this court found, there are 4 aggravating factors that we have identified. They go beyond a list of just what those factors are. We have not just done our homework and found a list. The court made good findings, detailed findings about those factors, and we think they justify a greatly increased sentence. This is not the typical second-degree unintentional murder. Supreme Court in our state has said that very recently, even 1 aggravating factor is sufficient to go twice the top of the range. Here we have 4. The first one that the court found is an abusive position of trust and authority. And the court specifically found that when Mr. Chauvin was acting as a police officer, he had a position of trust and authority. That is certainly true. We trust police officers. We trust them when we need help. We call them for help. We trust that they're going to take care of the problems that they are assigned to deal with, right? We trust them. We also give them great authority. We give them great power. We give them power to use force that individuals would be prosecuted for using, right? We give them authority to arrest, to detain. And with great power, of course, comes great responsibility. So they're not sent out there by themselves to do this. They're given substantial training. This court saw all of that through the trial in general and in specific to Mr. Chauvin and the other 3 officers. They're given training on the use of force, the proportional use of force. The force used has to be warranted by the threat. They're given training on de-escalation because we recognize that police officers are called in when people are not having their best day, when people might be affected by mental illness, drug abuse, any number of issues. They're just having a bad day, and they're trained for that and should be. And they're taught how to use that to de-escalate and control a situation. They're taught medical intervention. They're taught to provide medical attention to people who need it. Being a police officer is a difficult job. We ask a lot of them. It's a profession, there's no doubt about it. But we give them a substantial amount of training. And most officers do it right. This case wasn't about police officers, all police officers. It wasn't about policing. This case was about Derek Chauvin disregarding all that training he received and assaulting Mr. Floyd until he suffocated to death. One of the things that you heard, Your Honor, and the jurors heard that can really encapsulate, I think, a very important issue here. 7 words: in your custody, it's in your care. And it's a real simple mantra. It's a real easy thing to remember. You're going to take custody of somebody. You have to provide care. You have to do it in a caring way. You can't simply disregard their care. Mr. Chauvin abused his position of trust and authority as a police officer by doing just that, just disregarding all his training. It was an abuse of that because what did he decide to do? We often are forced in this, criminal justice system to infer people's state of mind by their conduct and their statements. What was Derek Chauvin's end game here? What was the plan? It seems apparent the plan was hold him down until we can dump him in an ambulance and no longer have him be our problem. You recall he said to Charles McMillan, he's a big guy, might be on something. That's it. He held Mr. Floyd down as Mr. Floyd begged for his life. He had the other officers help in that regard. And rather than doing the simple expedient of putting him on his side, he said, yeah, He was dismissive to that duty of care. We trust that arrestees will be treated with respect, reasonable force, and that their medical needs will be addressed. I'm paraphrasing from the court's findings. That trust was violated. We trust that they will use their authority reasonably, and this was a particularly egregious abuse of that force. Again, paraphrasing the court's findings. The typical second-degree murder does not involve that extent of abuse of a dearly held position of abuse or a position of authority and trust by the community, by individuals of the community. Your Honor found that Mr. Floyd was treated by Mr. Chauvin with particular cruelty. I think tortured is the right word. We know that, we've all seen it. Mr. Floyd did not want to be in the back seat. That's it. And that's the rub. It was the need to get him in that back seat no matter what. And we all saw that once he was pulled out of that back seat, he calmed right down, even willingly went down to the ground. I'm going down, he said. He went down to the ground, not fighting, not punching, and he was placed initially on his side. He's already handcuffed. He's placed on his side in the recovery position, like he should be, because he's trying to breathe, and then quickly placed prone on the ground, face down. Mr. Chauvin put his left knee on George Floyd's neck, his right knee on George Floyd's back, face down on the pavement, had Officer King sit on Mr. Floyd's waist area, and had Officer Lane hold his feet down. You can even see Mr. Floyd trying to pull his feet up. We all are going to fight to breathe. Everybody knows that fear when you all of a sudden realize you're having trouble breathing. It's just innate, right? We want to survive. We know we have to breathe. And there's an automatic reaction when you begin to feel like that is threatened. And you can see Mr. Floyd going through that. He tries to pull his feet up. But he's held down by these three officers while Officer Tao is looking on. Later, of course, goes to keep the people who want to help away. He's placed face down on this pavement so harshly that it rubs the skin off his face. He has injuries to his face from being face down on the pavement. He has injuries to his knuckles from just trying to lift himself up. And he's telling Officer Chauvin, can't breathe, I'm dying. Mr. Chauvin's response was, And all the time, imagine what Mr. Floyd is going through. If we're going to talk about particular cruelty and torture, really try to appreciate what he's going through. He knows he's suffocating. We all know that feeling of not being able to breathe enough. He's begging, he's pleading, and he's being ignored. His concerns are being dismissed by somebody who has taken custody but not cared. He was kept in that prone position for 9.5 minutes and was suffocated. That's the only way to say it. That's particularly cruel. That is more cruel than a typical second-degree unintentional murder. Significantly more. This is not a momentary gunshot punch to the face. This is 9.5 minutes of cruelty to a man who was helpless and just begging for his life. This court found that there were children present, standing only a few feet from these officers. These children, who were ages 17 and one child age 9. Why is that an aggravating factor? Well, I think everybody can figure that out. Right? It's particularly bad to commit a crime in front of children. We've heard a lot of academia about the development of the young brain and how long it can take. And here you got a couple of teenage girls, a 9-year-old girl. How are they going to process this? Standing feet from a man being suffocated by police officers. Such a stark sight that one of the children even says, we got to call the police on the police. How do you process that as a 9-year-old? The children are not only present watching a man die. We've all seen, if you haven't, you really need to. Look at George Floyd's face. As he's dying, he's suffering. Children have to watch this. But not only that, police officers, and there are people around them wanting to help. And at one point, and sure, they got upset. At one point, Mr. Chauvin points his mace, grabs his mace to keep him back. How does a child look at that? There's another officer screaming at them to get back. Typical second-degree unintentional murder doesn't involve children standing feet away, watching the 9.5-minute suffocation of a man begging for his life. This court also made a finding that the defendant committed the offense with the involvement of 3 or more other persons. Bain and King were involved directly in the restraint. That Howe kept the bystanders at bay. I've already talked a little bit about Lane and King's role in holding Mr. Floyd down. They recognized that he was pulseless, and Mr. Floyd was pulseless at one point, and yet really made no effort to take care of the person in their custody. Officer Tao watched most of the suffocation and then only went over to keep people from giving help. One person who is identified as a medical trained firefighter for the city of Minneapolis, and that was dismissed. Like, are we going to believe her? So they kept trained medical people from providing help. These were all uniformed peace officers, adding to that abuse of trust and authority. I know the defense has asked the court for probation. I'm not going to spend a lot of time arguing that. It's so outside of the realm of, I think, real possibility. This is a murder. I understand some of the arguments made on behalf of Mr. Chauvin. I understand I can't understand what his family members and friends are going through. I can't. But it's certainly not enough for a departure of probation for a second-degree murder. You believe, Your Honor, that these 4 aggravating factors, the findings that the court has made, certainly justify upward departure, because there are 4 of them, not standing alone, but in a sense, not overlapping, but coming together to show This is not the typical second-degree murder. This is egregious. This justifies a double upward departure. From the top of the box, which is 180 months, we're asking the court to do a double departure, recognizing all four factors to 360 months. As I mentioned before, Your Honor, this is sentencing. This is the time for victims, right? This is the time for the loved ones of the victim and the community to have a say. And I commend this family. I commend all of the loved ones, the friends, the people that have been involved in this case for tolerating and being gracious. None of this, of course, can bring George Floyd back. That's very true. But this is the time for our criminal justice system to say, we hear you. This is the time for their criminal justice system to say, we recognize that this harm you're going through is real. And while we can't feel what you're feeling, we know we can do what your criminal justice system should do and recognize the severity of this crime and reflect that in the sentence to be given. It's time for this criminal justice system to say, we recognize this is more serious than a typical second-degree unintentional murder. For reasons the court found, reflect that and give this court more than an adequate basis to do that. Your Honor, we ask the court to impose a sentence of 360 months to the Commissioner of Corrections. As you know, Your Honor, there are no fines in murder cases. We would ask the court just to reserve the issue of restitution, and clarify that with the family, and present that to the court for 30 days. Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Nelson. Mr. Blackwell.
Sorry, I just, thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, at this time, the defendant's mother, Carolyn Palenti, would like to address the court.
If you could state your full name, spelling each of your names, and proceed when you're ready.
Carolyn, Carolyn, Palenti, Pawlenty. I am the mother of Derek Chauvin. I am here to speak on behalf of my entire family. On November 25th, 2020, not only did Derek's life change forever, but so did mine and my family's. Derek devoted 19 years of his life to the Minneapolis Police Department. It has been difficult for me to hear and read what the media, public, and prosecution team believe Derek to be an aggressive, heartless, and uncaring person. I can tell you that is far from the truth. My son's identity has also been reduced to that as a racist. I want this court to know that none of these things are true and that my son is a good man. Derek always dedicated his life and time to the police department. Even on his day, he would call in to see if they needed help. Derek is a quiet, thoughtful, honorable, and selfless man. He has a big heart, and he always has put others before his own. The public will never know the loving and caring man he is, that his family does. He even though I have not spoken publicly, I have always supported him 100% and always will. Derek has played over and over in his head the events of that day. I've seen the toll it has taken on him. I believe a lengthy sentence will not serve Derek well. When you sentence my son, you will also be sentencing me. I will not be able to see Derek, talk to him on the phone, or give him our special hug. Plus the fact that when he is released, his father and I most likely will not be here. My happiest moment is when I gave birth to you. And my second is when I was honored to pin your police badge on you. I remember you whispering to me, "Don't stick me with it." Derek, I want you to know I have always believed in your innocence, and I will never waver from that. I have read numerous letters from people around the world that also believe in your innocence. No matter where you go, where you are, I will always be there to visit you. I promise you I will stay strong, as we talked about, and I want you to do the same for me. I will do what you told me to do, take care of myself, so I will be here for you when you come home. Remember, there is no stronger bond or love than a mother's love. One final thought I want you to remember. Remember, you are my favorite son. Thank you for your time. Chelsea.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. It is my intent that my remarks this afternoon be quite brief. I do not intend to relitigate the facts of this case, nor spend any substantial time looking at the law. The court is very familiar with the facts of this case, and the parties have fully briefed the court relevant to the sentencing factors. And we recognize that in any case, any sentencing that comes before the court is tasked with a difficult job. The court must craft a sentence that serves the interests of justice, a rather nebulous term. The court must take into consideration the victim impact, public interest, as well as the circumstances and the history of the defendant. And in this case, more than any other, that likely any of us have ever been involved in, that task is exceedingly more difficult. In my remarks today, I just wish to briefly address each of those three considerations, starting with the public impact. As I believe we are all cognizant of, this case is at the epicenter of a cultural and political divide. We tried to keep a lot of that out of the courtroom during the trial and make this case about the facts. But we recognize what has happened as a result of this case. There are a great number of people who will view any sentence you pronounce as overly lenient and insufficient to satisfy justice. There are an equal number of people who will view any sentence you pronounce as draconian or overbearing. Either way, some percentage of the public will view your sentence as a miscarriage of justice. The intensity of the public interest in this case cannot be understated. I trust that the volume of correspondence that each of us has received from the public at large is indicative of these very sentiments on both sides. As I was informed just yesterday, the Attorney General's office established a website, some web submission to accept community impact statements. Again, in my understanding is in a little over 2 weeks, they received over 1,000 submissions. Again, on both sides. By my very best estimate, since my representation of Mr. Chauvin began last summer, I would estimate that I have received over 5,000 emails, over 1,000 voicemails, and hundreds of handwritten letters. Again, from both sides. And I expect that Your Honor has likewise been inundated with public comment and scrutiny. The impact that this case has had on this community is profound. It goes far beyond what happened on May 25th of last year. It has been at the forefront of our national consciousness, and it has weaved its way into nearly every facet of our lives, from the entertainment that we consume to the presidential politics, from protests to conspiracy theories. In the end, it is my sincere hope that when this proverbial dust settles, the community impact brings forth principled debate and civil public discourse, and ultimately leaves a positive effect on the city of Minneapolis, the state of Minnesota, and the United States. Nevertheless, while this court may consider the community impact, it is for these very same reasons that the court must turn to the foundational legal principles and remember that justice is blind. Law is built on reason and common sense, and it cannot be permitted to be assailed by public opinion. Turning to the second consideration, which is the victim impact, the death of George Floyd. The death of George Floyd was tragic. He is loved by his family members. He is loved by his friends. And his death is justifiably mourned by those whose lives he impacted. He is a son, a brother, a father, an uncle, and a friend to many. And as the court heard today, the impact and the loss of his life, simply just can't be simplified. And it will take time. Finally, Your Honor, the court must take into consideration, just like it has to take into consideration the aggravating factors, it needs to take into consideration the mitigating factors. And the mitigating factors as set forth by the sentencing guidelines really point to the TROG analysis, essentially, ultimately in this case. We're not going to spend a lot of time, again, arguing for a probationary sentence. That's brief. But that being said, when we look at the TROG factors, who is Derek Chauvin? Derek Chauvin spent 19 years as a Minneapolis police officer. He loved being a police officer. I was contacted during the course of my representation and have had numerous conversations with his fellow police officers or fellow police officers that worked with Derek, some retired, some still active. And they told me that he was a solid police officer, that he did his job, that if somebody asked him to do a particular task, he never complained, he did it. One person told me that if One of his sergeants told me that if I had asked him to dig a ditch for 8 hours, he would have picked up a shovel and he would have never complained for a second. He would have done his job. He was decorated as a police officer, multiple life-saving awards. He was decorated for valor. He was proud to be a police officer because what he liked to do was help people. His statistics show the vast majority of police work is helping people. He was proud to be a Minneapolis police officer. He served his country, the United States, in the United States Army. And he too is a son, a brother, and a father, a friend. He too, his life, the life he's lived, he's not coming into this as a career criminal with 6 points, 5 points, 4 points. He's coming into this never having violated the law because he lived an honorable life and he attempted to live an honorable life. Eric Chauvin was not even scheduled to work on May 25th, 2020. Volunteered because there was short staffing at the time. I know from numerous conversations that I've had with Derek that his brain is littered with what ifs. What if I just had not agreed to go in that day? What if things had gone differently? What if I never responded to that call? What if? The truth of the matter is, and the end result is that we are here after a jury verdict, finding him guilty of these offenses. And the courts consider not only be focused on the aggravating factors, but the mitigating factors as well. The Minnesota Sentencing Guidelines Commission was established for a reason. And yes, the court in circumstances like these has discretion to go beyond and aggravate a sentence beyond the presumptive sentences established by the sentencing guidelines. But the sentencing guidelines don't differentiate between someone robs a liquor store, a police officer is involved in an incident, and a person dies in police custody. The law presumes, the legislature presumes that the sentencing guidelines as established is a sufficient penalty for all of the second-degree murder categories or cases you would see. From 2018 back to 2010, a total of 90 people.
Could you please shut up and get on with this?
For second-degree murder. Those sentences, those people, there were more than that, but people who had a 0 criminal history score, more than 90 people were sentenced. 67%, or 60 of those 90 people, received a guideline sentence of 150 months. So 2/3 of all people in this same position received a guideline sentence. 20% received an aggravated sentence, 18 of the 90, and 13% or 12 individuals were granted mitigated departures. So if the legislature and the intent of the sentencing guidelines is to eliminate sentencing disparity, the law should presume that the guideline sentence is what is appropriate in this case. The judge may take into consideration at this point those aggravating factors, but you have to counterbalance them, which is the goal of the law, with the mitigating factors. I know that this has been an incredibly difficult case for the Floyd family to have to endure. The state of Minnesota, likewise, prosecutors in this case have endured quite a bit, as has Mr. Chauvin's family. This is a case that has changed the world to some degree. And I hope it's positive. But it's my hope that the court follows sentencing guidelines, applies the law in a reasoned manner, and imposes a just sentence.
Thank you, Mr. Chauvin. Would you join Mr. Nelson at the lectern?
Oh my God, here we go.
Mr. Chauvin, this is your opportunity if you wish to give any input to the court. And so I turn it over to you and your attorney.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, due to some additional legal matters at hand, I'm not able to give a full formal statement at this time. But very briefly, though, I do want to give my condolences to the Floyd family. There's going to be some other information in the future that would be of interest, and I hope things will give you some peace of mind.
I'll note that I did read your comments in the pre-sentence investigation as well. All right, we are going to take a 15-minute recess so that I can get the sentencing order based on what I've heard today. And let's reconvene at 2:45. We're in recess.
Damn.
Ordering a recess in the proceedings that will lead to the sentencing of Derek Chauvin, the former
Oh my God, guys, I'm so sorry, but they're going to do that 15-minute break. If anybody wants to come up, you guys can come up while we wait so we can have a discussion on this. I look horrible, but I will definitely come on screen. So I don't know if anyone wants to come up. I can drop the link so you guys can come up and we can discuss this. I don't want to restart another live. So if you guys want to come up and we can talk about it, we can do that. But this is just, okay. I know the judge already knows the kind of sentence he's going to issue him, which, you know, it just needs to be over with. Yeah, so I don't know, but he was facing 40 years for the second degree, 25 years for the third degree, and he also has a federal charge that's pending. So that's why he's not able to make a statement right now. Yes, that's 15 minutes their time and our time too. So I'm going to add you to the screen. I'm going to do that 15-minute break. If anybody wants to come up, you guys can come up. You need to turn off your YouTube, sweetie. I look horrible, but I will definitely come on screen. So I don't know if anyone wants to come up. I can drop the link. So you, okay, I'm here. Come up. Okay, close out YouTube and just keep your StreamYard on. I don't want to. How this one was vastly different, and it's different because it fits so well. Okay, here I am. I see you. This is not your typical second-degree murder case. Can you hear me? I hear you.
I keep thinking back to Gianna's statement. Van and I guess, share that father's instinct. I've done murder cases and trials. I've had victims come testify at proceedings like this. I've never seen.
Okay, so guys, I'll drop the link again if you want to come up. I don't know what was going on with her, but as I said, I actually got up. I slept in late. Yeah, I heard her, but I don't know what happened. Let me try to put her on again. All right. Can you hear me now?
So my family will serve a life sentence. This is the best we can do. It's our criminal justice system.
Here I am. I have you.
Come back in.
Can you hear me? AT2, would you like to come up?
I think he chose not. He said because of some other elements.
Sorry, crazy cat mama. Anyone while we're waiting?
Talks about what a wonderful person. Not only has he now been convicted of the murder of George Floyd, he's also charged.
Okay, I got to take her down. I don't know what's going on there, but she's not coming up. Okay, there you go, AT2. What's up, baby?
Hey, I'm just over here waiting on my food, but I was listening. whatchamacallit, I wish they would just go ahead with the sentencing. I didn't really need to hear from Derek's mom. I'm sorry, I don't feel bad for her at all.
No.
If she knew what her son did, if she understood what her son did, she would have just kept her mouth shut.
Yep, she never even apologized. You heard it. She never even apologized. And if you were listening from the beginning, when his daughter was the first one to do an impact statement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just sad. It is really, really sad. She didn't say, you know, I'm sorry to the family, nothing. She kept talking about, first she said that, you know, if he gets a lengthy sentence, you know, well, when he sentenced, the father and her might be deceased. Then she says she's going to be there for him when he's released. Either you're going to be dead or you're going to be alive. One of the two. I'm sorry. I don't feel nothing for her either.
Right. And then I hate when they use the excuse like, oh, you know, they said he served in the army. That doesn't make him a good person just because he served in the army.
Okay, well, my son served in the military. Okay, they didn't murder anyone. They put their knee on anybody's neck.
Right. It try to play on people's emotions.
Yep.
I mean, that's what every case they try to do, play on people's emotions and stuff like that. But that don't make a difference. We seen what he did on camera.
Yep, and he did it before to a 17-year-old. So he was able to release him then. He knew when a 17-year-old was in distress, he moved his knee. He didn't do it to George because they had an altercation before. And that was his way of saying, I got you now. He was smirking.
Right. That smirk told everything. That smirk in his face, you could just see like his eyes were just like dead. You know what I mean?
Yep. So I'm just ready for this to be over with. I really am. He needs to be, he needs 40. If they give him the 40 and the 25, hopefully it runs consecutively, which means your ass will not be getting out.
Right. And he's just going to rot in there.
He needs to rot. And then he's got that federal
get the full sentence, though?
Huh?
Do you think he's going to get the full sentence?
I think so. I hope so, at least. I hope so. And now he has a federal charge pending, which he went to court the other day to try to get it dismissed. And they said, no way, Jose.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to get his, whether he spends 25, 30 years, whatever. He needs to get a stiff sentence. He deserves it.
Right.
I mean, and
he has no remorse.
No remorse. I mean, it wasn't like it was his word against the witnesses. It was captured on video. You have kids that were there and watched this man's life be snuffed out. It was captured. So, yes. And that thing I follow now, always film the police on IG. You see everything.
Too.
Yes, I follow them. Yes, Chris, his eyes were completely hollow. Then he had his hand in his pants where he was applying in more pressure. I feel nothing for him. I have no empathy, nothing for him. Nothing. Nor his mother, and I hate to say that. His mother, I didn't see her during the whole trial. If you remember, people sitting behind them, I've never seen that woman until today.
Right. Never seen her until today.
No, and Grumpy says hi.
Who said hi?
Grumpy.
Oh, hi, Grumpy.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that this shit is crazy. But anyway, I'm just waiting. So we have another 9 minutes to go. And hopefully when this judge takes the thing, he does what's right. I just want his ass to be sentenced, and I want it over with because he needs to go.
A pursuit of justice.
Yep. So I'm just
also the other 3 officers. You know, their trial is in August, I believe, right?
Yeah, August. So they go in August. So I'm just waiting for them, but they go in August, and they also have federal charges now as well. So I'm waiting and put everybody. You know, it's been a year and a month. So he's being sentenced a year and a month after he murdered George Floyd.
Wow.
So we're going to see what happens. But look, I hadn't even combed my hair yet. I just took my bonnet off and I was like, oh, synthesis, I got the alert. And I was going to just record it and upload it. And I said, no, let me go live so everybody can watch it. Because some people were sending me messages that they couldn't find it to watch it.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were going to go live with it. Like once I seen the notification, I was like, oh, shoot, let me go ahead and watch.
I didn't know either until I got the messages, the DMs telling me they can't find where to watch it at. So I just said, forget it. I'll just put it on because I had it at private at first. So then I just put it public so everybody can come in. Notice I didn't do a flyer or nothing. I just went going live now. Yeah, but that's it. So, you know, this train, look, I'm gonna take your words now. This train is coming down. Look, it's coming to the end. That train is about to stop.
It's not stopping. It's going.
Now, if they don't give him what his lawyer's talking about, he's received thousands. Okay, what about the millions of people that watch this?
Right.
Thank you, Grumpy. The millions.
Hold on, Heidi. I'll be right back. That's my food.
Okay, all right. What about the millions of people, guys, that watch this? And he's talking about he's received thousands of emails, I think, and hundreds of calls. Come on, we got millions of people that watch this man murder this man on that. I mean, played out on TV. That video, all the videos went viral. Then all the security cameras around was capturing it. Come on now. You had a young girl there that was 9 at the time. You had a 17-year-old. You had young kids watching this. Young kids. So I feel nothing for him. His ex-brother-in-law, Tao, none of them. They all need to be done away with because you get bad apples and they make all the other officers look bad. So I feel no sympathy for him at all. So if anybody else wants to come up, I'll put the link in there again. So before we finish watching this, as soon as they come back on, I know 82 is getting his food, but if you want to come up, come on up and we can just discuss it. I'm watching a timer and I put it up so I can see when a judge goes back in the court. I just have them on, I just muted them. Yep, the notifications work. Crazy Cat Mama, do you want to come up? Because this was you too sending me these messages, but you don't know where to watch it at. Yep, they're going to feel that for the rest of their lives. They really will. And, and this one girl said that she couldn't sleep. She was crying all the time. She said she had started seeing a therapist. So it's sad. Yes, he had it out for him, Butterfly Kisses. He did. And if it wasn't for the fact that the bar owner or the owner of the nightclub that witnessed the altercation they had before, if she hadn't said anything about it, it would have been like, no, yeah, he had it out for him. And the fact that we find out after the fact that it wasn't a counterfeit $20 bill. And the reason why they thought it was counterfeit because the guy he was with in the store had tried to pass one earlier that day. And when the clerk of the store said that he offered, to give them the $20 to keep, they were just, and Derek wasn't supposed to be on that day. What if, okay. What if you would have took your fucking knee off his neck? What if? I feel nothing for you. Nothing. Yes, I'm nervous too, confidential informant. Very good to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while. But yes, I'm nervous. I'm not really nervous. He's going to get a sentence. I don't know if it's going to be the 40 years or if he's going to just get 30 years and the 25. But whatever it is, it's going to be a while before he actually comes out. So I'm just waiting for that. Let's see. This is important. All right. Whatever it was is not that important. So somebody tried to send me a message. But anyway, it's just, there's Crazy Cat Mama. Hold on. Let me bring her up. Hey, sweetie. Yes, ma'am. Crazy Cat Mama. I'm here.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, hi Heidi, can you hear me?
I sure can, sweetie. I really can. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Yeah. I see you.
Oh, I'm a mess. Anyhow, no, I don't see any other option for this than maximum sentencing. And even then, that's just not enough.
Okay,
as far as I feel about it, I mean,
okay, what do you think about Derek's mother up there speaking?
Don't even get me started. I understand that she's his mother and she has to try to stand by her child. But as you all have pointed out, there was no apology. No apology.
No
acknowledgement. To the
no
family.
nothing.
Yeah, and that's not right. This man's life was taken away. And let's be real. If this had to happen, let it not be in vain.
Well,
do the right thing once. Let it be the one time that the courts do the right thing.
Do the right thing. You're absolutely right. I'm serious.
And you know,
I'm sorry, what did you say?
You know what I told you already about my cousin's dad back in 1964. And this is a long time coming.
Yeah,
it truly is. And
you're absolutely right. But you know, if she would have just acknowledged the family, I would have felt something. You know, she never even said his name. She never even said George Floyd's name.
No, she didn't. And that's another slap in their face to the family of George.
Oh my God. I'm ready for this. Honestly, it's like 2 more minutes and then the judge should be back on the bench. I want this over with, and I really do. I appreciate everybody being here.
Thank you
Yvette,
for
I know you're at work. Hi, Snuggle Bunny. Yvette, I know you're at work, sweetie, but if you want to come up and say a few words, the link back in for you. I know you're there, but if you want to just come up and say something, you can. I'm serious. I mean, I'm serious. I was sitting here working on my Rochester stuff and getting all my details and everything, and it came across on my phone. I was like, oh my God, today is the 25th. And I stopped what I was doing and went straight to it. I set up the stream. I was going to record it. Well, I was on Facebook at first in the studio. I was going to record it. And then when I got your message and I got a message from like 3 other people, I said, you know what? Let me just go to StreamYard and I'll stream it. And I'll put it up and I'll put it live so everybody can watch it who wanted to watch it or listen to it.
Well, thank you for doing that, honey, because I couldn't find it.
I told you I pay attention to what people are asking me.
I know, sweetie. And thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for everything that you do.
Oh my God. No.
But today was very important, and we need to
It's very important. Did anybody catch Judge Joe Brown on Dom Natty the other day?
No.
Yeah, if you missed that interview, you definitely need to go watch it. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
Thank you, Susan. She never looked up, never looked over there, never looked up. Like I said, she didn't even acknowledge them. Nothing. Never mentioned George's name at all. So that tells me right there, you have no empathy for that fucking for that family and what they went through. None.
What was the point of Chauvin coming up to make a statement?
Well, he had to say something to say he couldn't say anything.
But it's meaningless. There was no point. Why even bother?
No, Butterfly Kisses says, this feels like the longest 15 minutes. It's like you're waiting, you know, like you're going for your mammogram and then they tell you to come back in again. And that happened to me because, you know, they found something and then, you know, they have to do, they have to do this, the ultrasound and longest. Yeah. And, you know, and then you see 2 people come in the room. So I understood, you know, what Sutton was going through. I'm like, oh, shit, this isn't good. And no, she goes, everything is fine. I'm like, okay. Oh, my God. Body of missing Georgia. Oh, my God. Whew. Yeah, they're late coming back. They are. But I'm waiting. But yeah, so that's what it feels like when you're waiting to get your results. And then you see them, you know, when they walk in and you're like, what the hell is going on? Because I don't like this. And I'm getting hot because I'm getting nervous now. The judge shouldn't take this damn long. Yes, Casey Anthony. And you know, talking about that, I knew they weren't going to find her guilty. The reason I said that is because the prosecutor could not prove that she was murdered. The medical examiner, we know something happened. You don't know what. So they followed the letter of the law. You had to have a reasonable, if you had a reasonable doubt, you could not convict. So I wasn't shocked at that verdict anyway. But I remember when she went missing in Florida, because I was there the week she went missing. And it was her and another little girl named Haley, like the following week.
Did they find the other one? I don't remember another.
I don't remember them finding her either.
Really?
Yeah.
This has got to stop. This has got to stop. If you people don't want to have babies, then keep your damn legs closed.
Oh, damn. Very
Straight
good.
up. I'm straight up. Keep your damn legs closed or go get yourself fixed. But this bullshit with killing and abusing innocent babies has got to freaking stop already.
He tried to say, yes, he tried to say that. Heidi, did you see this?
Fucking need to take
This
care of
is
your damn
crazy.
business. Excuse my French. Excuse me. Oh my God.
You okay? Yeah, they never found Haley Cummins. Thank you. They never found that little girl.
This is just.
They never found her. But she went missing first. When I was there, like 2 weeks before, she went missing. Then I went back again, and then Casey Anthony's daughter went missing. Hi, Terry. How are you? So, yes, I had 2 Haleys within a month that went missing when I was in Florida. I'm like, I need to stop coming to Florida.
This world just needs to stop. This world needs to stop with the craziness. It's beyond control anymore.
Yep.
And
Sincere, I saw you trying to come up, but no, I can't have you come up on the panel. So I'm not going to bring you up. But thank you for being here and watching. I cannot bring you up on the panel, Sincere. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, are they back in the courtroom? Nope, not yet.
Well, Heidi, I just want you to know that we appreciate all that you do each and every day, no matter what the situation.
Okay, so Snuggle Bunny is asking, what is the lady's name with you, Heidi? I came in late. Do you want to tell them your name, sweetie?
My name?
Yes.
My name is Heidi. I'm Heidi Light.
Heidi Light. That is Heidi Light, not a troll playing on Heidi Black's name. That is Heidi Light, who changed her name to Crazy Cat Mama, so nobody gets her confused with me.
But now they get me confused with another crazy cat lady. I mean, and
yeah, they're trying to say that you're moderator 148. Yep, so they're trying to call you moderator 148.
Nobody else.
Nope, and you're definitely not her.
I'm not, but
yeah, and Sincere keep. Oh, okay.
I don't know the lady, but I love her.
Okay, I gotta go.
Okay,
I gotta go because the judge is back on the bench. The judge is on the bench. Love you too, baby. Bye.
Bye bye.
Pause for a moment, our coverage. A CBS News special report.
What?
This is a CBS News special report. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Major Garrett in Washington. The nation's eyes are on a courtroom in Minneapolis as former officer Derek Chauvin is sentenced for murdering George Floyd. He faces a maximum of 40 years. Judge Peter Cahill is about to deliver the sentence.
Yes!
Listen in, that you took the time to stay with this case and to provide me with input. I have reviewed the pre-sentence investigation and carefully considered all the facts of the case and the law. But my comments are actually going to be very brief because most of it's going to be in writing. I have a 22-page memorandum that is going to be attached to the sentencing order. And why am I doing it in writing? To emphasize the fact that determining the appropriate sentence in any case, and in this case, is a legal analysis. It's applying the rule of law to the facts of an individual and specific case. And that is why, as opposed to trying to being profound here on the record, I prefer that you read the legal analysis that explains how I determined the sentence in this case. What the case is, or what the sentence is not based on, is emotion or sympathy. But at the same time, I want to acknowledge the deep and tremendous pain that all the families are feeling, especially the Floyd family. You have our sympathies. And I acknowledge and hear the pain that you are feeling. I acknowledge the pain not only of those in this courtroom, but the Floyd family who are outside this courtroom and other members of the community. It has been painful throughout Hennepin County, throughout the state of Minnesota, and even the country. But most importantly, we need to recognize the pain of the Floyd family.
Yes.
I'm not going to attempt to be profound or clever because it's not the appropriate time. I'm not basing my sentence also on public opinion. I'm not basing it on any attempt to send any messages. A trial court judge, the job of a trial court judge is to apply the law to specific facts and to deal with individual cases. And so, Mr. Chauvin, as to count one, based on the verdict of the jury finding you guilty of unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony under Minnesota Statute 609.19 subdivision 2 paren 1, it is the judgment of the court that you now stand convicted of that offense. Pursuant to Minnesota Statute section 609.04, counts 2 and 3 will remain unadjudicated as they are lesser offenses of count 1. As sentence for count 1, the court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 270 months. That's 270. That is a 10-year addition to the presumptive sentence of 150 months. This is based on
10 years?
Abuse of a position of trust and authority, and also the particular cruelty shown to George Floyd. You are granted credit for 199 days already served. Pay the mandatory surcharge of $78 to be paid from prison wages. You're prohibited from possessing firearms, ammunition, or explosives for the remainder of your life. Provide a DNA sample as required by law. Register as a predatory offender as required by law. And you will receive a copy of the order and also the attached memorandum explaining the court's analysis. Anything further from the state?
This needs to be decided. We just asked that it be executed forthwith.
Then it is remanded to the custody of the sheriff to be transported back to the DOC or whichever custody is currently holding him. I think it depends. All right. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Judge Peter Cahill has just announced the sentence of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, 22 and a half years. Jamie Yukas of CBS has covered this court case from the very beginning. She joins us now from Minneapolis. Jamie, set the scene. If there's any reaction out there or what you have your own reaction based on what you heard before this verdict being announced there in Minneapolis.
Well, I think everyone, including the crowd behind me in front of the government center, was surprised.
Okay, 22 and a half years. That's down from the 40 he deserved, but at least he's got a sentence. We got that. I can't believe it. No justice, no peace. He had a max for third degree. The max was going to be 25 years. The max for second degree was 40 years. So it looks like he split them in half, but he said the last two was going to be adjudicated. So guys, that's not justice, but we're going to see what happens today when, I look horrible, but that's okay. We're going to see what happens today, but that's what he has. So that's 22 and a half years because you had the 40 and you had the 25, that's 65. So he didn't even split it down the middle. But Thank you guys for being here. Anybody else has any final last words? Everybody except here, because I'm not bringing him up. You guys can come up and say what you have to say. I'll wait another minute or two, and then I'm going to go get dressed and everything so I can actually start my day now and finish doing what I was doing. What she said, oh shit, what? Yeah. Yep, that's way more than expected. I at least wanted him to come close to that 40 years. I really did. But he is going to serve something. So that is not a slap on the wrist. It's not 5 years. It's not probationary. So, you know, he's getting something. Crazy cat mama. There you go, baby.
No, that's wrong. It's totally wrong. The man took the man's life. What the hell? What the are you saying it's okay to do? Is that what you're saying? This man, I don't get it. I'm never going to understand it. I'm never going to understand it. I don't know what else to say. It's not right.
It's not right. I was really, if he did, you know, I really wanted the max. I know that was a lot to ask, but 22 and a half, no, he needs 30. So I don't know. I'm going to look it up and see if he has to serve all 22 and a half, but they said the other 2 charges are going to be adjudicated. So I need to look that up as well. Yes, Terry, I wanted 25 to 30. That's what I wanted. And yes, Sherry, that's why I'm not bringing him up. I made you a promise. I'm going to keep my promise to you. I told Sincere myself, if you said it wasn't okay for me to bring him on panel. Hi, Kelly. How are you feeling, sweetie? Just so you know, I guess you know, Derek Chauvin was just convicted. Well, he was already convicted, but he was sentenced to 22 and a half years. So
yeah. He's going to get out and still be able to live his life, isn't he? After 22. And let's take off the time off for good behavior. And
well, it was only 100. Okay, Heidi, don't get upset, please. I'm going to look it up and see if he's going to serve all 22 and a half. I want to see what does he mean by the other 2? Well, the other 2 charges are going to be adjudicated. So I need to look that up.
And somebody said that he was going to be put into general population. I don't see that happening. He's been in protective custody all this time.
Okay, they need to throw him in there. You won't see Sincere in chat because I blocked him from coming into the chat, but he can still watch the channel. So, but when I drop the link, he can still click on the link. But good thing I'm on control and I see him backstage. So anyway, Heidi, I am sorry, but this is better than what we expected. It wasn't 10 years. No, okay, he won't serve time on the other 2 charges. But then he has that federal charge there now too as well.
It's just not right. It's not right. I mean,
it's okay, Heidi. It's okay.
It's not okay. It's not okay, Heidi. That's the thing. It's not okay. This bullshit has been going on for hundreds of years.
Thank you, Breezy girl. No, I won't bring him up. I won't do that to Sherry, and I won't do that to anybody else because I don't need him asking me, can he ask me a question 55 times? So I appreciated him coming up when we did do the Derek Chauvin trial, but after the things that I saw transpired after that, I cannot have him on my panel. Yes, federal time is day for day.
Is he going to federal prison then?
Well, he has a federal charge for violating George Floyd's civil rights. So he's going to trial on that as well. With federal, you do day for day.
I don't know. I honestly, I pray to God that they put this man in general population and let him get what he deserves. I'm sorry.
Well,
I know it's.
I don't think when he goes to prison, he's not going to a federal prison. So that's the best thing. So let's see what happens because I'm not gonna say I want anything to happen to him, but let's see what happens.
But it's so complicated. It truly is. It's not really complicated. It's straight up black and white. He killed a man. for no reason.
He murdered
whatsoever.
a man. Yes, he murdered this man.
Yes.
And his mother is up there talking about she won't be able to see him. And George Floyd's daughter can't see him, can't talk to him, can't visit him except for the cemetery. So they need to shut the fuck up. I'm sorry.
Because Mama can go visit her little baby in jail or wherever the hell he's going to be. And this, you know, and
Well,
it's
we're
not
going to
just,
find out what prison he's going to. So, yes. And if I knew some thugs, I would have some thugs going in and beat him up. But since I don't know any, it's okay.
well, we don't need them because they're going to take care of their own justice. They will take care. If he's let into general population, this man is going to suffer, as he should, because for what he did to that George Floyd felt. Oh my God.
Yeah. And guys, I'm just going to say this. So there's still 99. Oh, I forgot. I think it's 99 people still missing in that condo that collapsed in Florida. And here's what I was thinking, because people kept thinking that if there were snowbirds, that they won't be there. But since they haven't been able to contact these people, I'm thinking these people were there.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. So let's keep their families in our prayers. And again, I want to thank all of you for being here. I dropped the link and I wanted to know if anybody else wanted to come up, but I'm going to go and finish. I am working on my Rochester story. This police department, the mayor, the whole system is crooked. Yeah, so I'm working on that. And before I do a live on it, which I am going to do that one live. So if you guys aren't familiar, please start familiarizing yourselves with the Rochester Police Department. They killed, well, Daniel Pruitt was murdered by Rochester police right during the time when this was going on with George Floyd. There was a lot of riots in Rochester as well. It didn't get as much coverage as George did. But back in February of 2021, they announced that no charges would be filed. So, and then there's also Tyson Johns, Mark Gaskill. They maced the 9-year-old in the back of the car, which there's another story behind that. So she was in the car. So I am going to be doing that one really soon, hopefully by tomorrow. But I just want to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row before I come live with that. Been out long back. Yeah, so I'm definitely covering that story. So that will be alive. So that way we can all participate in that. So I appreciate each and every one of you sticking around. And for those that came in late, I appreciate you even being here. This was an impromptu live. Sister, you are in, but I don't see you, woman. Let me drop the link for you so you can come up real quick. All right, sister, there's the link.
I am going to go. I'm going to listen, but I'm going to drop down.
Yes, thank you, Sherry. Okay, baby, I will talk to you later.
Okay, sweetie, have a good day, and thank you.
You too, sweetie. Lori Vallow show will be on tomorrow. Yes, it will be on tomorrow. My sissy said she wanted to come up. Rock the whole damn department. Yes, that whole department, including the mayor. I'm gonna give you a little tidbit. So the mayor's husband was arrested. He was found to have guns and everything in a car. First, she said they were divorced, but they just lived in the same house. He was found with drugs and everything else on him. So I am definitely covering that case. There you go, sister. Hi, sweetie. Oh, you look beautiful.
Hey, I'm pissed.
Hey.
I may need a shot. My hair still ain't done yet, but I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
Okay,
fuck the judge, fuck the system, fuck anybody that got something to say. I'm going to say what I got to say. Because guess what? Down here where we at, first offense, them the boys killing one another, they get life on the spot. So what's the difference with him? Because he's a police officer and he white.
Yep. Hey, Nita. Could you let Nita come up and say hi too? That's my cousin, Nita. Hi, Nita.
Hey, cousin. Hey, beautiful. We all in here, baby. We pissed.
Oh,
we pissed. I don't care.
Nope, they wasn't divorced.
It is what it is. Why did the judge take so long to come back? That's all I want to know.
He was trying to see how, well, you know what he did when he said he wasn't going to read everything. But yeah, I wanted him to get all 40 years plus those 25 for third degree murder.
They got people traumatized behind this. They got kids traumatized behind this because they watched this.
Yeah.
And the judge was sounding like he was scared to talk.
He was.
I mean, come on. This got to stop. When is this gonna stop? But you know what is gonna stop? When they destroy all these states and cities behind us right here that just went on today. This is foolishness right now. This is foolishness.
Let's just hope they
and
don't.
It's not gonna sit pretty. It's not gonna sit pretty. It's gonna turn out real ugly.
No, it's not gonna sit pretty. Nita, you got anything to say?
Nita, you got something to say?
No, I no.
We just emotional right
They're
now.
all emotional.
We emotional. We can't really say what we want to, you know. This bitch.
Oh, sister.
I'm pissed. And I really don't want the shit that I want to say. I don't want to say it because this is your page and your podcast.
You can say it. You can say it. I am not monetized. I am not monetized. Say what you want to say, baby.
Because you have a lot of white friends.
Fuck the judge and the emotional feelings that bitch talking about, that they sitting their head on there. Yeah, bitch, everybody is emotional with this motherfucking bullshit on this fucking white policeman killing this fucking black man. He couldn't fucking breathe. They have all that on motherfucking camera. That's evidence. What the fuck they got going on in that courthouse?
Tell her, let one of us kneel on his neck and see if he survived. If he survived, set him free.
Bitch got me.
Let us kneel on his neck. And if he survives the minute, then set that bitch free.
Okay, with that. Well, no.
Tell the judge that bitch needs to be fired.
Okay,
he needs to find another fucking
That's why he read how
girl, they got me hot. Girl, they got me hot.
Everybody.
That's why
I'm gonna let you know. Everybody in my chat is agreeing with everything you girls, with everything you're saying. They're all agreeing.
I appreciate y'all, and I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to be disrespectful to nobody.
Let me go take
but
a walk,
I'm just really. That's why I wasn't watching it. Sister, every time you was telling me to watch, I wasn't watching it because everybody can't suffer behind what's going on. I'm not faulting. I'm not saying I'm faulting all white folks and all this stuff because all white folks not bad. But you know how they fault all black? They make one black person do something, they make it bad for all of us blacks. That's how I'm feeling right now at this time. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't want to watch the trial. I never did watch the trial. But it was a must that I watch it for the sentences because I want to see how this was going to turn out.
Yep. 22 and a half years, and he was supposed to do 40 years for second. The max was 40. So the minimum was 20 years. So he gave him 22 and a half years. And they're saying you're not.
And then they gave him time served for the spending 199 days in prison. Really?
Really? Yeah. Everybody is standing up.
When he was explaining on how he was given the time, he wanted to read it. I knew that he was about to do it his way. He still wasn't going to see it the black way. Not necessarily the black way, just being fair, period.
Ain't no justice was served.
Ain't no justice, no peace. Juneteenth is for what? What y'all gave us that day for? At the end of the day, we still don't have them. That was just what to shut us up.
Okay, Juneteenth is for basically for Texans.
It just goes under the rug. Then the law will step in and be like, it's because the law says this that he's getting this sentence. Oh, but our lives don't matter.
How many murders did they have in New Orleans last night?
How many murders did they have in New Orleans last night? They had a woman got stabbed to death. Somebody dropped her off on the fucking hospital emergency room and left her. That was one so far that we heard of. All this week they've been having 3 and 5 murders every day down here. Every day.
Are there any cop involved shootings down there?
They had one. They had one. And the reason why he shot because the boy came out the door shooting at his sister, trying to kill his sister, and the police shot him, but they didn't kill him. They shot him in his leg to stop him from running and trying to kill his sister. We never had a cop killing down here in New Orleans. We have black killing black down here. And first offense, black killing black, they go and do life. It's no sentences and all this drama, all this what they got going on now. We don't have that here.
Them people was girl.
This is really a trip, but I want to see how it's gonna play out in these states if these people gonna stand up and walk these streets and these grounds so we can get satisfactory out here. Y'all can go to everywhere, these clubs, second line. I want to see you walk these fucking streets for justice for us.
Then they said the state asked for 30 years.
I'm pissed.
Bitch, I'm hot.
I'm literally pissed. And it's all because Donald Trump ugly wig head ass. It's all because of him with this foolishness. Racism been going on, but that is all it's coming out now. Everybody's starting to believe it now.
Well, they believed it before. It just wasn't as blatant as it was when he was in office.
Let me tell you something. Sister,
look.
I was in the grocery store, like I was just telling Nita and them. I never had trouble with a white person a day in my life. But when Donald Trump was in the house, they had this white lady. I pushed her basket to the side. She gonna tell me what the fuck I moved her basket for. I said, bitch, is you crazy? I said, bitch, Donald Trump.
You're breaking up, sister. Sister, you're breaking up. Sister, you're breaking up. Yep. Okay, sister, you're breaking up.
Oh, here they talking about.
Okay. All right. Sister, you're breaking up. I'm sending you a message. You're breaking up. I can't hear you. Okay, I heard that.
All right, the service man here.
Okay. All right, guys. You heard what my sister said. She's a little heated. They're all at my cousin's shop in New Orleans. So, okay, she's back. Oh, no. Okay. All right, there you go. Okay.
I'm still breaking up.
No, you're good. Nope, you're good.
You can hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sister. But I mean, it's gonna turn out real ugly. And I hate to say it because I'm quite sure everybody else watching it, but this is gonna play out real bad. I'm just gonna be on CNN just watching it because in these states, this is gonna turn out real bad. Because this is a slap in the face. This is a slap in the face.
It is. But I appreciate
Yeah,
you
I
guys.
understand. Trump, yeah, this has been going on before Trump.
Yep, it was. But it just came out because of him. Everybody became brave enough to say exactly what they were saying. So this has been an issue before Trump, and it's going to be an issue after Trump. But you know, but I understand the anger. I'm just going to watch the news, baby. I'm going to watch and see what happens, especially Minneapolis. I'm going to go put it on CNN. And you know me, I watch CNN. I'm religious with CNN. You know, I watch, wait a minute, during the election, I didn't sleep, 4 nights? I was up all night. So, but I'm going to go watch. And
you had bags under your eyes, sister. You had bags under your eyes.
I know. I was watching. I had to watch. But I love you, sister. I love you, cousin. And ladies in the shop, I really appreciate you voicing your opinions. Love you. I wanted them to see how beautiful my cousin was. I wanted her to come closer to the screen. 2, move it so people can see how beautiful Nita is.
You didn't see little cousin. Hold up. You gotta see. Come on, come see, Jay. Nita, this is daughter. Nita daughter. This your cousin. Look.
Hey, beautiful. Oh my God. I haven't seen her since she was younger. But there's my daughter.
And this is sexy cousin. Come on, Nita. Come.
Nita, come so they can see you, beautiful. Girl, stop showing all that butt. AT2 in the chat. Don't do that. Hi, beautiful.
Bye, sister. I'm going to talk to you later. I'm going to call you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, sister. Guys, I love all of you. Thank you for being here. I'm going to go get myself together. Girl, y'all see me just when I get up. I'm serious. Oh my God. AT2 couldn't come with me to New Orleans. I've got a lot of cousins. He would lose his mind. So you guys have a great day. Be blessed, be safe out there. And I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Love you guys. Hopefully I'll see you later. Bye.